just making it into 2021 without catching it, I'm like, oh man, thank God. But you know, some people have.
March 17th, that was the day of the lockdown. That kind of just turned everything around.
I lost my job because of COVID. So I started doing different things to make ends meet.
I would have a harder time like staying focused during classes because they were like, it was just a camera. And like my mind would wander of like, I don't have to sit here.
I think the biggest fear for me was like passing it to somebody I love.
Welcome to the fun house, man. People weren't buying shirts. There's not baseball teams buying shirts. There's not, you know, schools.
It got to a point where like I'd be taking tests, I would just close out of them. You don't want to tell your parents about that because it's like, you know, you're gonna hurt them.
I literally went from zero to stockpile. I had nothing and I was tired of not having anything.
I didn't sit there and cry over spilled milk. It is what it is, you know what I mean? You're not gonna get anywhere complaining. I knew that I had to set up a game plan, you know what I mean?
I learned how to cook because I watched my grandmother cook, and I do it to keep her memory alive.
It's a scapegoat. I think using him in this whole last 4 years as a scapegoat to kind of, you know, justify the way this country has functioned from the beginning.
Racism will always be in America. It's no way, because it's taught behavior.
It's heartbreaking.
My name is Starling Underwood. I'm a photojournalist here at Fox 29 and a cameraman in this town for a little over a decade. I lived here most of my life. Now there's always been an ebb and flow to things. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. And most of the people in this area are strong enough to ride the wave. But here lately things have been getting a little spooky. So I wanted to go out in the town and find out, you know, take the temperature, see how people are feeling. So I went up to the Northeast to talk to the fellas over at Culturally Biased to see what they think.
I'm your host, O.
I'm my Mitch.
We got my guy from Fox 29, cameraman. We're gonna let Starling host. And we're talking about hope.
Me being out in the community a lot, I see people are losing hope.
Yeah.
And I'm out here trying to find it. What does it look like? Do people even recognize it? My first question to the room is, how are you feeling after making it through 2020?
I'm still on edge because I haven't caught the virus yet. Just making it into 2021 without catching it, I'm like, oh man, thank God. But you know, some people have. I'm just trying to stay like ahead of it. You know, you gotta wash your hands. The normal things you should be doing now is very essential.
Right.
You should just stop spreading germs. Just try to stay ahead of the virus because in the long run, if you ever do catch it, if your immune system is strong enough, then you'll fight it off.
How are we all feeling about the vaccine?
I'm frontline. I'm an essential employee, so I'm looking around like, yo, do I really want to take this joint? Do I want to? I'm waiting until 21 days or something like, yo, let me see how this guy comes back. Right. Let me see, let me see the side effects of this thing.
I think the biggest fear for me was like passing it to somebody I love.
Yes.
Right.
I visit my grandma a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and it would mess with me, man. Sometimes even when I go see her, it's like I don't feel comfortable giving her a hug or like a kiss.
How are you guys dealing with all the racial injustice that happened last summer?
There's a lot of younger people that just basically, they're not tolerating this anymore.
Right.
So that's why you see the riots, you see all the fighting with the police. I'm sick of this. We'll shut this whole block down with a protest just to get our point across that something needs to change.
This country and us being a part of this, it just seems like everybody wants a part of us. They don't really want to accept us totally. Accept who we are totally.
Racism will always be in America. It's no way, because it's taught behavior. When it comes to hope about racism, I don't have any.
This has been our country though.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it bothers me so much when I keep hearing people say like, oh, like Trump divided the country.
Right.
You know, we gotta get back to get back to what? It was ever great for us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to figure out where. You know, I think it's a scapegoat. I think using him in this whole last 4 years as a scapegoat to kind of, you know, justify the way this country has functioned from the beginning.
Right.
I mean, this has been the reality for us. Mm-hmm. So it took the world to stop.
Right.
Right.
For everybody else to realize that being African American is being African without connections to your heritage, but being American without the privilege. So it's kind of like we stuck in this, you know, that space in between. It's like nobody else can say that. Everybody has ties to where they come from. We don't really have any ties, and we don't benefit from being here originally either. So it's like, we the only one with that experience.
I need to know something to tell my kids,
Right.
if they have to experience something like this, or if they see something on TV. Like, I'm just trying to, dig more into what's going on racially, because you gotta understand why don't you like
It don't even make sense, right? How are you guys moving up forward every day? Not feeling like anything's gonna change, or not feeling like, how will you keep getting up every day? What's making you do that?
Just throughout some of the tragedies of last year, it still brought thousands of people together.
I actually do have a lot of hope, because two things major for me that I've been noticing, especially in the black community, is fatherhood and black men and just black people period starting to seek help.
I put a lot of hope in people, the people around me. Hope on a daily basis, keep people hopeful. You be the change that you want to see.
For me, what I do just to be hopeful, like I said, man, I get up for my kids every day, man. I get up for my kids, and I know that at the end of the day, it's not really about me. I need to put something forward so their future will be a little bit brighter.
Now, the guys had a lot of good insight, but it sounds like they're putting their hope in the future, so I'd like to go talk to the future. I want to introduce you to college freshman Elliot Brown. Now, Elliot, who just so happens to be transgender, is trying to find his way in a world full of violence, poverty, and COVID. How's the pandemic kind of affected you?
Mental health-wise and with school, it had a really big impact. And at first I was like, oh, classes are starting later, maybe it's messing with my schedule. I would have a harder time waking up. I would have a harder time staying focused during classes, because they were it was just a camera. And my mind would wonder of I don't have to sit here. I could get up and do anything. And it kept that happened day in and day out. And it got to a point where I'd be taking tests, I would just close out of them. In my mind, I knew I had to do these tests. I was screaming at myself, inside of myself, you need to do this, you need to finish these things. But I physically couldn't do them. I would just sit there. In school, when it was in person, I was entirely fine. But the moment it shifted online, I realized I have a form of ADHD, and it made it really hard not having an in-person instructor to help me with that. So a big part of the pandemic was figuring out how to navigate that and how to finish out my senior year and not have my mental health kind of fully take over.
So how do you do that?
What I did at first is I reached out to my parents, because it got to a tipping point where I realized it was too much for me to handle alone. Because for a while I thought, it's fine, I can do it, it's nothing I haven't handled before. But it got to a really bad point, so I reached out to my parents and I told them I don't think I can do this, which I think is really important for people, because a lot of people are it's fine, I can do it myself, because you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to tell your parents about that, because it's you're going to hurt them, but you have to, because if you don't, you're just going to get more hurt. I wound up going to therapy for a bit, and going through that process really helped out and gave me coping mechanisms for if things seem like they're too much, break it down into parts, this way I can handle it that way.
How do you keep getting up every day and just decide, I'm going to keep living, I'm going to keep trying to be who I am, who I want to be?
It's cliche, but I do keep reminding myself that things do get better. Because year in and year out, you always go through different things, and every year I would be I don't think I'm going to make it to the end of this year. I didn't think I'd make it to 18, but I did. And a big part of that is when I did turn 18, I promised myself no matter how bad things get, you've survived every bad thing that's come your way, so why don't you just keep trying to see what's going to happen? Things are changing all the time, and that doesn't mean one thing you go through doesn't mean it's going to be everything you go through. Remembering that bad moments are only one part in everything that you're going to go through is a really big thing that helps me stay hopeful, and that everything eventually is going to turn out the way I need it to.
Now, it's extremely important to stay on top of the mental health of our youth. It's hard to do that when life is giving you lemons. Now, I met a woman who lost 2 jobs last year because of COVID. She's been trying to make lemonade ever since.
I cooked for a friend of mine who has a catering business. One day she told me, you need to cook and sell your food. She said, your food is so good, and I have had other Puerto Rican food, but yours is just, is different. My nickname is Lala. Why don't you call it Ooh La La 215? Because every time we eat your food, we be like, Ooh La La. And you from the 215, so. We're making jibaritos, white rice and beans. A jibarito is a sandwich made out of plantains and cheese, lettuce, tomato, onions, and meat. So I'm making chicken and steak. I lost my job because of COVID. So I started doing different things to make ends meet. I started extreme couponing. I started cooking and selling food. I have friends that are single and they don't want to clean their houses, so I clean their houses, wash their clothes, come over and cook for them, whatever they need me to do, you know, within limits, obviously, but I would do it. And that's how I got by. I have 2 daughters. One is 20 and her name is Dejalina. One is 16, her name is Naraya, and I have a 3-year-old granddaughter. They keep me going. I can't let them down, so I just keep pushing and keep pushing. This helps get the show off. My dad taught me how to coupon when I was younger. That's why I'm an extreme couponer now. He taught me how to shop, to make everything stretch. I literally went from 0 to stockpile. I had nothing and I was tired of not having anything. And I just started looking stuff up, going on YouTube, going on Facebook groups, and I learned how to extreme coupon. It's helped because I have friends who are also in my situation that I contribute items to, you know, that are not able to do what I do or don't know how to do it, or I know that there's something going on, and so I say, here, you know, come over, I got you.
You're saying that helping people helps your attitude?
It does. I love to help people. I'm good at making people feel good because I enjoy it. I honestly care. Like I care. There's a lot of people that don't care, but I do. Ingredients that are canned or already pre-made to make everything from scratch.
Kensington is ground zero for heroin in the United States.
Right.
What's it like going back?
It's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking to see how many young people are dying and the trash and the crime. And my very best friend died 4 years ago of a cocaine overdose. So when I see that, I remember her. A lot of people don't look like they have a lot to live for or a lot to look forward to, or they don't really, you know, believe in anything and have faith, or, you know, they just feel like this is what's meant to be and that's it. And they don't care. There's so much chaos in the world, and there's so much hate, and, you know, nobody cares about anything anymore. And when I cook, it's the way I show love. If my grandmother were to ever see me buy sofrito and not make it myself, I think she would be really upset with me. I learned how to cook because I watched my grandmother cook. It's her way of showing love, and I do it to keep her memory alive. That's how you know it's done, when it stands up by itself. We have a strong family. Our family is very supportive, very loving, and so we got each other.
The economy, racial injustice, and you still feel like tomorrow's gonna be okay.
Yep. Because I have God and God got me.
Philadelphia is a hub for creativity, but sometimes things get so dark you can't see it. You just have to know where to look. So I went up to Hunter Park to talk to a man named John from Modern Classics so he could tell us how he's turning trash into treasure.
Hey, what's up, brother? Welcome to the farmhouse, man. Everything in here is pretty much, I did it myself, man. When I came into this building, it was abandoned. As a kid, as an artist growing up, you know what I mean? Like you dream to be able to build, you know, something, a work environment that, you know, you created that's comfortable.
Tell me about Modern Classics.
Modern Classics it started about 6 years ago. I pretty much was out of a job. I knew that I had to set up a game plan, you know what I mean? Whatever I had saved up, took that little bit and, you know, I bought my printer and a heat press. Yeah, you can just run it.
Tell me how the pandemic affected this business.
I was set to open up in April. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, hit March 17th. That was the day of the lockdown. That kind of just turned everything around, just 360. I didn't want to have retail, like walk-in business. I just wanted to, you know, sell to other businesses. That just came into a halt, and I wasn't able to do that because of the pandemic. So I had to change the game plan. I then started auctioning all stuff and buying stuff from the auction, selling that. You know, working on wood projects. Still, you know, people weren't buying shirts. There's not baseball teams buying shirts. There's not, you know, schools. It was like, you know, I didn't sit there and cry over spilled milk. It is what it is, you know what I mean? You're not gonna get anywhere complaining. But I still have stuff like, I got a chandelier there. I bought a pallet of chandeliers at one point, you know, for like $200. I got a couple wood projects over here that I'm working on. See, I got my windows here. I just collect windows because, you know, I like old things. I like to bring stuff back to life. One day I was like, you know what, let's work on a project. You know, let's build a bed. And I built a bed. We built the bed out of pallets. You know what I mean? And this is, you know, mid-April. You know what I mean? It's the height of the pandemic, and we're in here building beds out of pallets and benches. You know what I mean? We built a couple benches and took a picture of it, just, you know, for fun. Posted it online, and it kind of just had legs of its own. And I was able to, you know, pretty much sell a couple beds and a couple benches, you know, for a good price. So that way, you know, it got me by.
Just kind of give me some insight on how you are able to keep getting up every day and keep hope alive, keep going.
I pretty much keep hope going because I have no choice. I feel like I got my back against the wall every day. There is no cushion. There is nobody giving me anything. You know what I mean? It's everything I got to get made. I got to make it. My hope is it comes from my kids, you know, my children. You know, I got 3 kids. You know what I mean? And they're everything to me. They rely on me. So if I don't do it, then, you know, nobody will.
Now, there's no doubt that we've been through a lot here lately, but it feels good to know that there's people pushing forward no matter what. We are all in this together. I need you and you need me. If you have the ability to lighten someone's load, you should do it. Now, my job is to tell the news, whether it's good or bad. The smiles are my favorite. I'd like to see more of that. Keep pushing, Philadelphia.